All right, this is pre-calc lesson 5.2. Going to go through some more trig identities. Whatever I don't go through here in the video, I'll need you to go through with on the rest of the assignment. So this will kind of go through some of these day one type problems. The only difference between 5.2 and 5.1 really is that with these identities, now it tells you what you have to get to. So we'll start with some algebraic examples here. So we'll start with number 1. We need to turn that into 1 minus x. Okay, so we need to turn that into 1 minus x. So on that first part there, if I factor an x out of the top, I get, what's going on here? There we go. If I factor an x out of the top, I get x times, this is number 1, x squared minus x, and then that's going to be over x. Okay? So that's going to cancel that out. So I have x squared minus x. Then I'm going to need to FOIL that right-hand side over there. So that's going to be minus x times x would be x squared. Minus 1x plus 1x would cancel out those middle terms. And then I'd get minus 1. So that's just me kind of, foiling this part over here. All right. Then x squared minus x minus, I'm going to distribute the negative sign, plus 1. Going to cancel me out there and leave me with 1 minus x, which is where we had to get to at the beginning of this. Okay, let's try that again. I'll turn that writing tool off there. Come on. All right, let's go to number 4. Same type of dealio. For number 4 there, we need to turn that into 2x. So we're going to have to do some FOILing here. This is number 4. So it's going to be x squared minus 1x plus 2x would be plus 1x minus 2. Then I'm going to subtract, and I'm going to put this in parentheses there since that is a subtraction sign in the middle. Remember, we want to turn this into 2x when all is said and done. So that's going to be minus x squared plus 1x minus 2x would be minus x, and plus 1 minus 2 would be minus 2. Okay, then I'm going to distribute my negative sign. So that's going to give me negative x squared plus x plus 2. Cancel, 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 cancel. We're left with an x and an x, which we can set equal to 2x. All right, so that's the difference between what we were doing the other day and then kind of what we're doing today is it tells you where you have to go. All right, so let's try number 5. It says, tell whether or not the sign of x is an identity. So essentially it is, can you turn this into the sign of x? All right, well, we go back to our note sheet here. Sine squared plus cosine squared. Well, I've got it circled right there. We know that can be turned into 1. So we're going to put 1 over cosecant. Well, remember, cosecant is the reciprocal of sine. So 1 over sine would just be sine of x. So yes, that would be an identity. So you want to see if you can turn that into sine of x. I'm going to leave the rest of those for you to do, 6, 7, and 8. Only one of the 3 that you have to do does not work. Okay? All right, let's cruise down to number 15 then. Number 15. All right, so we need to turn 15 into the tangent square. All right, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to FOIL. All right, so 1 times 1 is 1. Inside would be minus cosine. Outside would be plus cosine, so that's going to cancel out. And then cosine times cosine would be cosine squared u. All over cosine squared u. All right, 1 minus cosine squared. Anytime you start seeing cosine squared and 1 and sine squared and 1, that should lead you to this, but let's make sure. Once again, I've already got that circled over there. If I move the cosine squared over there, that equals sine squared. So that top just turns into sine squared. Well, if you remember too, tangent is the same thing as sine over cosine. So like right up there. So tangent squared would be the same thing as sine squared over cosine squared. And there you go. That's where we were supposed to get with number 15. All right, let's try number 18. Number 18. So we have to turn number 18 into that, sine theta over 1 minus sine squared theta. So we want to take the left and turn it into the right-hand side. All right, so number 18, secant squared minus 1. Let's see if we can turn that into anything. Secant squared minus 1, right there. Secant squared minus 1 would be equal to the tangent squared. So we have tan squared theta over sine theta. All right. I want to rewrite this. Tangent squared is the same thing as sine squared over cosine squared. And then when we divide by sine squared, that would be like multiplying by the reciprocal, so it would be 1 over sine. Okay? Then we have a sine here and a sine squared there. So our top is going to be equal to sine theta, which is where we had to get it to. So this is what we have left on our bottom, which is cosine squared. And remember, right here, cosine squared can be turned into 1 minus sine squared